Hello, here we go. Another video. I don't want to call it a podcast. Call it a YouTube video. That's because that's what we are. That's where we are. Right. I want to talk about deadlifts today. Much maligned exercise. Why do we use them? Why don't we use them? What they're good for? Why I like using them. I'll say it now. That's why I'm doing a video about them. I like using them. They're very useful. Who they're for, who they're probably not for, and what to think about. So, before we go any further, my client has been watching these, and he's asked me to encourage you to like these and maybe share it with someone who may find some value for it, because that's how we grow and that's how we get rich and famous. Right, less than 5 minutes. So deadlift, often used by personal trainers. Why do we use them a lot? Because they use a lot of muscles. So we're going to get developments in legs, pushing the bar, pushing the floor away, letting the bar come up. So lots of hamstrings, lots of glutes. Very important to keep those nice and strong. Great for grip strength, and you're using your traps and shoulders and muscles in your back to lift it up and hold it. So the crossovers for everyday life are, you're going to be strong. Everybody's got to pick something up at some point in their life. I don't think there'll be many princesses or princes watching this who have everything that do for them. So yeah, we need to lift things up in life. Why do people train most of the time? Not because they'll have to pick something up in life. They train because they want to look good, feel sexy, feel strong, which is admirable. I think that's why most of the people in the gym, not to diverge off, but practically and functional training was very popular a few years ago. But I think people like that functional training, but it was still with the view to get sexy and feel good in the clothes. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Maybe not. Yeah. So, do they do a lot of muscles in a relatively short space of time? Yes, absolutely. If you're time poor, if you're like me, gallivanting through my 40s, time has become a valuable asset, certainly when it comes to training. I've got Harrison, I've got more work than I've had previously, and everything's a lot more compacted. So do I do deadlifts if I've got a quick 40 minutes and I need to get some energy out? Deadlift is a good go-to exercise to get lots of energy burn, feel strong, push some weight. I know I'm going to tick off, or at least get some load through my upper back and shoulders and traps. It's not as good as a back workout. I know this. Everyone knows this. Or maybe you don't know, that's why you're watching this. Yeah, so some back work is going to be involved in there. So yeah, it's very versatile exercises. Obviously we've got the three main variations that I use. The trap bar deadlift, which the handle's by the side with the hole, you stood in the hole, and this takes a little bit of energy out of the lower back. You're not obviously bent over forwards, so it can feel a little smoother, and it puts a little bit more emphasis through the legs rather than with the bar, which you have to bend over slightly and the weight's further in front of you, so there is a little bit more energy into the lower back. Not a lot, and I'm not here to do a scientific breakdown on anything like that. They use them a lot in sport to alleviate the risks somewhat. Yeah. So yeah, again, risks around deadlifts. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So the risks can come from loading the weight up and trying to lift it up too fast in the initial stages. What I advise with people is start with lightweight sets of 10, and you might be on that for a few weeks while we get the technique right, we get the shoulders locked in, so they need to be pulled back and down so that your back's not bending excessively. Once you get better at that skill and you can feel what's going on with your back, we can allow a little bit of curvature. But if you're watching this and you've got this far and you're a good deadlifter and your back bends and you're in competitions or you're lifting over, let's say 150, there's going to be some bending in the back. The shoulders can't hold all that, the weight that the rest of your body can move. So yeah, a little bit's allowed under certain circumstances depending on where you fit in that spectrum of deadlifting experience. For a beginner, we want that back nice and straight, we want the shoulder blades held back, and we want the legs doing the majority of the lifting, because that's what we're trying to target. Legs are the biggest muscles. If we can make them nice and strong, we get through lots of energy, we can add lots of lean tissue there without looking bulky, which is a completely another podcast or video, sorry, it's not a podcast, it's a video, of where we want to go. So should we be doing deadlifts? Yes, absolutely, around the circumstances of not having big disc issues and big problems with lower back. It has been advertised is the wrong word, speculated that the deadlifts do help your back, which I think all sort of lifting and all movement will help your lower back. If you have got a lower back problem, I do not think you should be deadlifting, certainly without supervision of a coach, or certainly without knowing the risks of what's going to happen with discs and pain and what's going forwards. They can be useful for strengthening the back up and strengthening your whole body, that whole rear chain. So the rear chain is what we call your hamstrings, your butt, the muscles in your lower back, the muscles in your upper back. If we can strengthen that, that can alleviate some back pain and some potential problems. But yeah, we've got to be very careful. Always got to be very careful when deadlifting. Other versions that we use are RDL, so Romanian deadlift or straight leg deadlift. There is a slight variance, but we don't need to worry about that on this video. If you're watching it and you know the difference, you're probably just dying to get in the comments and slag me off. But Romanian straight leg deadlifts, great for targeting the hamstrings and hips, getting that nice and strong. I often use them at the end of a pull workout when all the upper back muscles have been fatigued for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and then some mid to lower weight RDLs, just put the icing on the cake on those, supersetted with some bicep curls. So takeaways, what have we got for you? I'd like most people to do some deadlifts on the condition they feel confident and that they're not going to hurt themselves. If you feel like you're not sure, speak to a trainer, speak to me. My DMs are always open on various apps, so I'm happy to discuss whether you should be doing deadlifts and how they should look and what should be going and how often you should do it. Any questions about deadlift, drop them in the comments and I'll let you know. We're up to 10 minutes, so I appreciate you getting this far. If you have, if you could like and subscribe and maybe put a thumbs up in the comments, that'd be really useful. Okay, kind regards, have a nice life.